13. So one says the 3 steps shown below here were used to find an expression equivalent to 2.5 times 15x minus 30y plus 10x, which would be the first step. Well, so what would you do first if you were given this expression? Well, the first thing you would do is do the Streeter property, right? So before I can combine like terms, I would do the Streeter property. And if I do the Streeter property, I get 6x minus 12y and then plus 10x, right? That would be my first step. So do I have anything that looks like that? 6x minus 12y plus 10x? Oh, I have. Look, right here. That's the first thing. And then the second thing would be what? Combine like terms. I would combine this 6x plus 10x, and that gives me 16x minus 12y, right? So, which is what they have over here, step 2. But step 1 would definitely be to do the Streeter property. Okay? That's nice and easy. Prime factorization. So, again, you can take this and do it in so many ways. 32m with 56mp. Right, so what do we have in common? So the greatest common factor between 32. So again, let's think of it as this way, right? If you did the distributed property, which one is 2? So now, you don't have to do this. You can actually go through the problems and do it. If I multiply 8 times 4m, I get 32m. And then 8 times 7p, I get 56p. Is that the same thing as that? No, so that's not it. This says 8m. Why would they do this? 8 times 4, and then they have the mp in the back. So you can rewrite the question as this and put the mp next to the 8, and 4 plus 7. And now do the Streeter property. 8 times 4 is 32. Don't forget the mp. Plus 8 times 7 is 56, and don't forget the mp. Is that the same thing as the original? That's also no. 8p times 4 is 32p. Is that the same thing as 32m? So automatically you can stop. And just by default, this would be your answer. But just if you want to practice, 8m times 4 is 32m. Positive and a positive is a plus. 8m times 7p is 56 mp. And there is our answer. So you can use your multiple choice to your advantage and do one by one. Or you could have done do the prime factorization. Sorry, not prime factorization. Find the GCF. 32. The GCF between 32 and 56 is 8. Do they have any letters in common? Yeah, they do have the m's in common. So I'll take that out. And then 8m times what's 32m would be times 4. And then 8m times what is 56mp? Well, the m's are already there, so we would write p over there. And then 56 divided by 8 is 7. And you get the same thing as letter D. Three, Ben earns $9 an hour plus $6 for each delivery that he makes. He wants to earn more than 155 in an 8-hour period, workday. What's the least number of deliveries he must make to reach his goal? So he makes $9 per hour. Plus $6 per delivery. And he wants to earn more than $155. So all that has to be greater than 155. Now, I know he works 8 hours, so that 8 I can substitute over here. So instead of 9h, that would be 9 times 8. And we know that in an 8-hour shift, he's going to make $72. So 72 plus 6 times D has to be greater than 155. And then we can solve for D. Minus 72, minus 72. You get 6D greater than, that's 3. 15 minus 7 is 8. Divide both sides by 6. and 83 divided by 6 is 13. So D has to be greater than 13.83 deliveries. Can you make 13.83 deliveries? No. So D has to be greater than 14. So anything above 14 deliveries, you'll be okay. That's why our answer is 3. Oh, it's D. 4. Sally bought 35 feet of trim at a hardware store. The trim cost $1.35 per foot, including the sales tax. If she paid with a $100 bill, how much change should he have received? So 35 feet times 175, right? Because every foot is 175. So let's multiply 35 times 1.75. That gives us $61.25. So if you pay with $100, let's see how much change you get. You get $38.75. Which expression is equivalent to AC plus 6 minus 3C minus 2? So again, combine like terms. So this guy and this guy are like terms, and this guy and this guy are like terms. So HC minus 3C, and then plus 6 minus 2. This is going to give me 5C plus 6 minus 2 is 4. 6, a number n is multiplied by negative 5 or 8. The product is negative 0.4. What's the value of n? So let's translate. So n is multiplied by negative 5 or 8. And that gives us negative 0.4. Okay, so what do we do here? We can divide both sides by negative 5 over 8. Divide this side by negative 5 over 8. Right? Or you can multiply both sides by 8 over 5 negative. So you can do, and I know I wrote the coefficient in the back, but it's okay. So this is what it says. Another way you can do it is multiply I just write the same thing twice. Yeah. Multiply both sides by 8 over negative 5, 8 over negative 5, so which is the same thing as divided by negative 5 over 8. So this and this will cross out, this and this will cross out, simplify to 1. Negative and negatives are positive, so n equals negative 0.4 times 8 over 5. That gives us 0.64. Okay, and our answer is in the, in the fraction format. So you can change that to a fraction. So 64 is 64 over 100. You can simplify. That simplifies to, let's see, if you divide by, let's divide by 2 is 32 over 50. Divide by 2 again, 16 over 25. Do we have that? Yeah, we do. It is. Give me a second, I need to charge. So, where are we? On 7. So 6 was D. 7 is going to be, it's the perimeter of a certain pentagon is 10.5 centimeters. Okay, so 4 sides of pentagon have the same value. The other one is 1.7. What's the value of H? Okay, so we can do it several ways. So I know that 1.7 plus H plus H, plus H plus H, and all that has to equal 10.5. You obviously can combine these four and just simply write 1.7 plus 4H equals 10.5. It becomes a two-step equation. Those of you who still want to do that story, my variable is 4, my variable is h, being multiplied by 4. It's 1.7 is being added, so that gives us 10.5. So the inverse operations I will use, I'm going to subtract both sides by 1.7 and then divide by 4. So let's do that. Minus 1.7, minus 1.7. That goes away. 4h comes down, and 10.7 minus 10.5 minus 1.7 equals 8.8. Divide both sides by 4, and h equals 2.2. So 7 is A. Okay. Number 8. Company ordered 10 box lunches for, this sounds familiar. 10 box lunches from a deli for $74.50. Each box costs the same amount. Which equation represents the proportional relationship between y and the cost of the box lunches? So this is the total, and x represents the cost per lunch. Sorry, the number. X represents the number of lunch boxes. Number of lunch boxes. And if it's proportional, you know our equation is going to look like this, right? It's not going to have, well, it does have a zero intercept, but it's going to be plus 0, so we don't need to really write that. So, the long way of doing it is that y is the cost of the lunches, the total cost, sorry. Y is our total. X is our number of boxes, number of lunch boxes. So to find k, we can do k equals y over x, and in this case k is 74.50. X was the number of box lunches, which is 10. Remember, this is a point on our graph, so our graph looks like this, right? And then this point 10 and 74.50 is on the line. So I can use that point to find k because it's proportional, and k equals 7.45. So our equation should be y equals 7.45x, which is right here. Nine, a trailer will be able to transport 40 kilogram crates to a store. So every crate weighs 40 kilograms. That's the weight, every crate. The greatest amount of weight that can be loaded on the trailer is 1,050 kilograms. So there's a truck. Okay, there's a truck. Actually, there's a truck. Right? And we want to put these inside the truck. And the total weight that this truck can accept is 1,050 kilograms. So it already has 82 kilograms inside. So what is the greatest number of 40 kilogram crates that can be loaded? So think about this. It's an inequality, right? So the truck has 82 kilograms already inside the truck. Plus, we're going to add crates that weigh 40 kilograms each times how many of these can we? Well, let's call it x times this. It has to be what? Under or equal to 1,050 because that's the maximum. So whatever you're putting in the truck has to be less or equal to 1,050 kilograms. The truck already has 82 kilograms. And we want to figure out how many boxes that weigh 40 can also go in there. Well, minus 82, 40x less or equal to 1,050 minus 82, 968. And divide both sides by 40. 968 divided by 40 equals 24.2. So the greatest number of boxes that we can put in here is 24.2. We obviously can't put 24.2, so the maximum is going to be 24. Okay. 10. What's the value of the expression? I don't understand why they do this, but you have a calculator. I'm pretty sure you have a calculator for both days. The answer is in fraction format. So 8 over 15 divided by, and let's write this as a fraction. So 35 over 100 negative. You can simplify. So 35 over 100, if you simplify that, becomes 7 over, divided by 5 is 7, divided by 5 is 20. So you could have used 8 over 15 divided by negative 7 over 20, which is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So you know your answer is going to be negative. Can we simplify things? Yeah, this becomes 3, that becomes a 4. You have 32 over negative 21. Or you can just put that in your calculator. So 10 is B. 11. What's the value of that expression? I will do it the long way, okay, just in case you need to do it. I don't think you do. So let's change that to an improper fraction. So I get 7.5 minus 39 over 4. And we're going to divide that by, so my answer is in decimal, so I made a huge mistake. I definitely changed that to 3.5. This becomes 9.75, and then we're going to divide it by 2.5. Okay. Let's subtract those. So if I get 975 negative minus 3.5, right, I'm going to get 6.25 negative 6.25 divided by negative 2.5. So I know my answer is going to be positive. So right away, I can throw this guy and this guy out. And then you can just simply multiply. Sorry, multiply, divide. So you can take this, 6.25. Maybe it was easier doing it as a fraction. Well, 625 divided by 2.5. This becomes 25, sorry. We're moving the decimal 1 over, move this decimal 1 over, so that becomes 62.5 divided by 25. That's 2, that's 50. 12 comes down, 5 comes down, and 25 goes to 125 6 times. And the final answer, oh, sorry, it's not 6, it's 5. The final answer is D. 12. Mike took a taxi from the airport. The driver charged him an initial fee of $6 plus $3 per mile. The total fare was $24, not including the tip. How many miles did Mike travel by taxi on his ride? So $6 plus $3 per mile equals 24. That's the equation. Okay, we gotta subtract 6 from each side. 3m equals 18. Divide both sides by 3, and m equals 6. So that one is pretty easy. 12 was B. 13, last one. Which expression represents the product? So product, I don't know if they, so basically let's rewrite that as this, right? Because that's what it's telling us to do. Multiply those two. You have to do the distributive property. So 3 times 15 is 3 times 5 is 15n over 4. 1.8 times 3 is 5.4. And then if you look at your multiple choice answers, the only one that has plus, this is gone, because you can't combine like terms. And just looking at your answer, the only one that has plus 5.4 is this. And just to confirm, is 15 divided by 4 3.75? You can take your calculator and do that, and you'll see that this can be rewritten as 3.75n if you wanted to. Okay, but right away, these two could have been thrown away. Okay, and that's that.